All right, welcome back to another edition of the North Florida College Football Gridiron Report here on North Florida Sports Talk. Marty Pallman and, of course, Corey Davis joining you here tonight on a special Monday edition, again, of the show. And hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving week. A lot of schools are out this week for most of the week. You know what, Corey, I found out today there's one county in the state of Florida that is not off week.
Boo!
Duval County. I know. Can you believe that? Duval County. I should have probably talked about that in the high school report just now, but they're the only county in Florida that's going to school. They went today and they're going tomorrow. So, although, as I've said before, not to sound make us sound old, and you and I are getting up there a little bit. You're a little older than me, though, of course, just not by much. But when we went to school, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, you went through.
Yeah, I was just talking to Kristen about that. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
We did, because I remember going to school the day before Thanksgiving, and you're like, well, if you need to travel out of town, you better hurry and get out Wednesday night because, the next day's Thanksgiving. I never had to go anywhere because all my family's in Jacksonville, but still,
Wednesday should have been a half a day.
I agree. And I don't, the UF's out all week. I know that. All the county schools are out. Again, every county but Duval County, which I thought was kind of funny, but I don't know. Who knows? Booval, yes, Booval in this case. They should be give them the whole week. It's a spring. It's like a fall break anyway, kind of like spring break. But anyway, hopefully everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving week. That's why we're here tonight. We're taking off Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. So, but we'll be back. We'll be back next Wednesday at our regular time, 9 to 10 for this show from Beef and Braids and Stark. Tonight we'll be joined around 9:30 by Kevin Brockway of the Gainesville Sun. Of course, he is the Gator beat reporter, follows Gator football. We're gonna talk one more. Oh, that light is
I'm glowing.
You're glowing. So something's going on. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Oh, I can see all of a sudden it was light. So we're gonna talk about the Gator coaching situation again. Because something's gonna happen this week. It sounds like with Lane Kiffin. Will he come to Florida? Will he go to LSU? Will he stay at Ole Miss? Corey and I have gone back and forth on this. I'm the optimist. I said along he's coming to Florida. Corey's the pessimist. He thinks he's going to LSU. So
no, I didn't say that.
Are you saying he's staying at Ole Miss? You don't think he's coming to Florida? Is what you're saying? Okay.
He might be going to Starkville.
Starkville. Well, he's going to go to Starkville. They're playing there Friday. So
and he may stay.
What? No.
Yeah. Why not?
What's he going to do there?
Turn Mississippi State around.
No, he's not going to Mississippi State. First of all, I don't think they're going to fire Jeff Lebby quite yet, but I mean, it's his second year. Yeah, we got to do something about that light, I think, behind you there. But anyway, there you go. Okay, we'll talk to Kevin about that coming up in a few moments. He'll join us to talk about that and other things involving.
There we go.
Not only that, but involving the Gator football program. And by the way, Saturday night I went to the game, only game I'll go to this year, and boy, was it bad. I don't think I've ever been. Okay, so I think you and I are the same age. I think we've both been Gator fans probably the same amount of time, which to me is like 1981 was my first game.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to a worse home game. Never. And I've been to, we used to go every year, every game for about 20 years, every home game. It was bad.
They only lost by 20, though.
It doesn't matter. They were never in the game. It's 31-0 at halftime.
I'm sure that if you go back in the record books,
Tennessee basically didn't try in the second half. That's what I'm saying. They didn't even really try to score.
Well, no, they had first and goal with 2 minutes to go and took it.
Right. That's exactly right. Josh Heupel took it easy on them. It could have been worse. It could have been a run. I thought we were going to a running clock. It was going to be 38-0 or 40-0. But
I'm surprised they didn't score because they need style points.
Yeah, I thought that wasn't a part of this now, but I guess it is because Miami did that Saturday at Virginia Tech. They threw a pass and scored with like the last 30 seconds of the game. And at first I thought Mario Cristobal was just being kind of a run it up, you know what, but no, you're right. Apparently they do need points matter. So, but I don't know. It was rough. So we'll talk about that with Kevin. He was there in the press box Saturday night where the Gators lost to Tennessee. But let's take a look at the news around college football. Boy, this was a bizarre story on Saturday. I saw this Saturday afternoon. UAB football players stabbed two teammates Saturday morning about 5 hours before their team's game against USF, and they played. The two wounded players were in stable condition. Interim head coach Alex Mortensen said at the post-game news conference. He said the team decided to play to honor graduating seniors in the last home game of the season, though several players opted to sit it out due to the incident. And the teammate suspected the stabbing was in custody. Daniel Minty, an offensive lineman who transferred to UAB in May, was arrested and booked on charges of aggravated assault and attempted murder in the afternoon. According to Jefferson County Jail records, he was in custody in Birmingham and was the only UAB player who was arrested Saturday, appeared to be. Yeah, this is a different story, Corey. This is a new one on me. A player stabbing his teammates. And now we did have that incident at Virginia, I don't know how many years ago, where the Virginia player killed his two teammates. He shot them to death.
I didn't think it was a player. I thought it was just someone else.
No, I think it was a player.
Because that guy just got
right.
This week.
No, he was a player. So, but this one, well, I just think it's bizarre. Secondly, that they played the game, but I know why they did. But I mean, this literally happened the day of the game on Saturday morning.
I want to know what the motive was. I mean, was he mad that someone stole his eggs or biscuits or his extra bacon?
His breakfast?
I mean, what was his? Because it happened during breakfast.
Right.
So what was the motivation? Because it just seems so out of, I don't want to say out of character because I don't know the people, but it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know them either. You're right. It could be in character with this person, but I'm with you. I mean, why would you do that? I mean, I don't know. It's just the whole thing seems really bizarre to me. But
yeah.
But UAB played the game. They lost to USF, not surprisingly. Although they probably would have lost to USF anyway. But I'm sure that whole thing didn't help. So that was on Saturday morning. Meanwhile, Oregon coach Dan Lanning took a shot. I heard this on the SEC Saturday after knocking off USC at home, 42-27. We didn't play Chattanooga State today like some other places. And, of course, he was referring to – it was homecoming week last week in the SEC, I like to call it. 6 of the 13 teams in action in the SEC. Texas A&M, the number 3, played Sanford. Number 10, Alabama, played Eastern Illinois. Auburn played Mercer. Georgia played Charlotte. South Carolina played Coastal Carolina. And LSU played Western Kentucky. So taking a shot at that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, I like how you wrote this. The comments didn't sit well with many fans.
Oh, because I was one of the people firing back.
I know. Oregon, by the way, their non-conference schedule, Montana State, who's a powerhouse, but in 1AA. Oregon State is 2-9, and Oklahoma State is 1-10. So this guy has nothing to say, as far as I'm concerned. Nothing.
And you know, you want to call shots, you know, at other teams, but yet you played a 1AA team too. You chose to play them week 1.
Right.
They choose to play theirs the second to last week of the
week 12. It was. Yeah. Right. I know.
So 1AA is 1AA.
This happens every year in the SEC. This weekend before the rivalry games. I mean, again, and that's part of the thing. I mean, you didn't have the only conference game you had involving 2 ranked teams in the SEC was Oklahoma and Missouri. And by the way, that also shows you how weak the schedule was. The Saturday night ABC game was Tennessee and Florida. Saturday night primetime game. So there was nothing going on in the SEC this past week, hardly. But that's why this week is so big. This week's going to be huge. But
I was surprised it wasn't Vanderbilt, Kentucky, to tell you the truth.
Oh, well, actually, that's true. Although Vanderbilt hammered Kentucky in the end. That's a good point. But and then, of course, the 3:30 game was Texas and Arkansas, which Arkansas, you know, just it's been rough for them. But, yeah, Dan Lanning, I got to say, very hypocritical to hear that from him about the SEC on Saturday. Yeah. All right. So more coaches fired after losing. This one surprised me a little bit, although the game also surprised me. We both thought Cal would beat Stanford. That didn't happen. Stanford won that game 31-10 at home. And then on Sunday, Cal announced that they have fired their coach, Justin Wilcox. He's been there 9 years, 48-55. Obviously, the record kind of mediocre. They're 6-5 and bowl eligible this year. But Cal making a change as well. And I think probably that Stanford game was the last straw because I was kind of surprised. I'm sure you were too. You texted me about this on Saturday night that they got beat that bad by Stanford.
Yeah, and I love this game. I watched the end of that game, and the Stanford student body went over to the Cal student body, and they exchanged this Golden Axe trophy.
Yeah.
And literally, Cal refused to give the trophy until the clock went 0.
That makes sense.
That's kind of how petty it was. Like, we don't like you. You don't like us.
Right.
And that was Stanford's first win in I think like 5 or 6 years too. So
Yeah, they
Cal,
beat Cal well. Yeah.
Cal really didn't want to give that up.
Yeah, and really Cal at this time, at certain times this year looked pretty good, but they have not played well down the stretch. James Franklin hired at Virginia Tech. He showed up at the game on Saturday, Virginia Tech game against Miami. And then the other story coming out yesterday, we mentioned Cal firing Justin Wilcox. Florida State, though, announcing Mike Norvell will be back for the 2026 season. This surprised me a little bit, too. They're 5-6 after the loss at NC State on Friday night, which you and I both predicted would happen. And now coming to Florida on Saturday, they have to win to get that 6th win bowl eligibility win. And I mean, they were 2-10 a year ago. You know,
I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen, but what if they were to lose 28-0, 35-0?
Yeah.
Now you've
already made that. Yeah.
You've already said he's coming back, but then
right.
you got embarrassed on Saturday to your arch rival,
who's terrible.
Kind of premature to be like, oh, you know, because they clearly have been saying, well, we'll make a decision after the season's over with.
Right. That's true. And they have I don't know. You're right. It's odd if you lose this week to a Florida team who, by the way, has apparently quit, it looks like at times, and you lose to them, you're at 5-7. Yeah, I don't know. But I think in the end, it comes down to finances. They can't pay it. They can't pay $54 million or whatever for Norvell to the buyout. So yeah, Florida State did announce that on Sunday. Under the term late game heroics, Bethune-Cookman quarterback Timmy McClain threw a 41-yard touchdown to Josh Evans with 20 seconds left to give Bethune-Cookman a 38-34 victory over Florida A&M on Saturday night. The Florida Classic, that was in Orlando, and that snapped a 4-game losing streak for Bethune in this series. The game-winning score capped an 8-play, 70-yard drive. Florida A&M erased a 24-9 halftime deficit and took the lead twice in the fourth quarter. This game was played at Camping World Stadium, Orlando. It usually is, the old Citrus Bowl. Mm-hmm. I've always kind of wanted to go to this game because I think it's in Orlando every year. Did they used to call the Orange Blossom Classic? Or was that a different game? There's always the Florida Classic.
It's always the Florida Classic.
Okay, I thought it was that, but yeah, I've always kind of been interested in maybe seeing that game because those are the two historic HBCUs in Florida, and they usually play this pretty close game like this.
Yeah, it was a big surprise because FAMU's kind of dominated that rivalry as of late. So the way it went down was a huge win for Bethune.
Yeah, I remember just 2 years ago, FAMU, I believe, went undefeated and won the Celebration Bowl that year. So they won that the HBCU title. 20 teams found out which seed they would be in the FCS, the 1AA playoffs Sunday afternoon. That will start this weekend. The top 8 seeds: North Dakota State, not surprisingly, 12-0. 2 seed is Montana State, 10-2. Montana, the 3 seed, 11-1. Tarleton State, the 4 seed, 11-1. Lehigh, the Patriot League, the 5 seed, 12-0. And the 6th seed is Mercer, 9-2.
Who just lost to Auburn this past weekend.
Yeah, well, that'll happen. Yeah. The 7th seed is Stephen F. Austin, 10-2. The 8th seed, UC Davis at 8-3. First-time participants include Harvard, 9-1, and Yale, 8-2. Yes, Yale did beat Harvard last Saturday, and Yale wins the Ivy League with that win. But both teams are in the postseason. The championship game will conclude January 8th at 7:30 p.m. at First Bank Stadium at Vanderbilt University. I didn't realize they played that game at Vanderbilt.
This is the first year because the stadium, it's always been played the last couple of years at somewhere in Texas. Frisco, Texas.
That's right, Frisco. Yeah, right.
And they're having their stadium worked on.
Okay.
So for the next 2 years, it's at Vanderbilt.
So, again, that will be January 8th. So that's still a couple weeks before the college football playoff championship. I think it's a week before, actually. So, yeah, the FCS playoffs will start this weekend. Always start Thanksgiving weekend as well. Bowl bound, 9 more teams are coming bowl eligible with wins this weekend. Utah State did win that game. I actually stopped watching it at Fresno.
They came back and beat Fresno. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't make it the whole night through that. But Clemson, I was watching it for a while. Clemson got their 6th win against Furman. So they are now bowl eligible. UTSA is now 6-5. FIU. Duke beats North Carolina. They had to come back late to do that. NC State holding off FSU to get their 6th win. Louisiana Tech. Northwestern, that was quite a game against Minnesota. They pulled that out at Wrigley Field. And Miami, Ohio gets their 6th win. So 72 of the 80 slots are full now. We only have 8 more to go. 20 teams are 5-6 and needing wins this week. They include Army, Auburn. Auburn needs to beat Alabama, Baylor, Florida State, Georgia Southern, Kansas State. Although Kansas State, boy, that Utah game was crazy in K-State and Utah. They nearly pulled that off. Kentucky still needs a win. They'll be playing Louisville. Mississippi State will need to beat Ole Miss to get bowl eligible.
How about Penn State?
Oh boy, they played well the last 3 weeks. They nearly beat Indiana. They won their last 2 games against Michigan State, and they beat Nebraska badly on Saturday. I think they'll get their 6th win against Rutgers this week and get bowl eligible most likely. Rutgers is another team that needs a 6th win. And then you have UCF and Washington State. But the teams that are already bowl eligible, 7 from the American now, Memphis, including Memphis, Navy, Tulane, North Texas, USF, East Carolina. 11 teams from the ACC, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pitt, Miami, Louisville, SMU, and now they've been joined by Duke, Clemson, Duke, and NC State. 11 from the Big Ten as Northwestern joins Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Nebraska, Iowa, Washington, Michigan, USC, Illinois, and Minnesota. 9 from the Big 12 as this week it was – I don't think anybody joined them this week from the Big 12. But,
no.
Yeah, so they still have 9, including Texas Tech and BYU, who had another big win at Cincinnati over the weekend.
The SEC needs one more team to catch the ACC and the Big Ten as far as having 11 teams.
Right. Conference USA has 4, Independent with 2, Notre Dame and UConn, Mid-American with 5, Miami of Ohio joining the rest. Mountain West has 7 with Utah State now joining that group, including UNLV, New Mexico, San Diego, and Boise State. As you said, the SEC has 10 right now. Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and then we have Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama, Missouri, Texas, Tennessee, LSU, Auburn, and Mississippi State will have a chance to join that this week.
Kentucky.
And Kentucky, right, as they'll play Louisville. And then 5 for the Sun Belt, including James Madison, who still may have a slight chance at the college football playoff there as well. So that's a look at the bowl eligible teams this week. And now we move on to our look at the conferences. We'll have picks coming up as we do every week. This is the College Football Gridiron Show, North Florida College Football Gridiron Show report here on North Florida Sports Talk. Marty Pallman with Corey Davis live from home tonight. Again, another home game for us, 2 of the last 3 weeks. And that means Corey will be able to get home quickly again this week, as he did a couple weeks ago. But special Monday edition again. We're hope everyone this week enjoys their Thanksgiving, and there's going to be a lot of great football coming up as well with family and friends. So looking forward to the week as well. But we will be back to our regular week Wednesday next week for the college football report. But take a look at the ACC. NC State over FSU. This was an ugly game, 21-11. Wolfpack become bowl eligible now, 6-5, 3-4. Florida State 5-6, 2-6. FSU dropped 2 punts in the last, I think, 5 minutes of this game, and that sold it up for NC State. They threw a touchdown on 4th down. FSU never has much luck, it seems like, at Raleigh anyway, and they didn't on this night. So
that's why I picked NC State to win.
Same here. And NC State does get bowl eligible with a win. Miami, they get a big win. They're still in the hunt for the college football playoff, although they're not going to be able to play for the ACC title. But a big win for them at Virginia Tech, 34-17. The Canes are 9-2 and 5-2. Virginia Tech did cut it to a score in the 4th, but they fall to 3-8 and 2-5. Notre Dame had 21 points before their offense even took the field in this game. They had 2 pick sixes and a punt return to go up 21-0. They scored 35 in the first quarter and beat Syracuse 70-7 as the number 9 Irish go to 9-2. Syracuse is rough year for them. They're now 3-8. This game was ugly.
Yeah, when I saw the score, I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah, I know.
It got ugly, and it just kept getting ugly and uglier.
Yeah, it's been that kind of year for Syracuse. The season's got kind of ugly for Louisville. They've lost 3 in a row. They've been close in every game, but not on Saturday. SMU blew them out 38-6. So SMU still a shot at playing for the ACC title. 8-3 and 6-1 in the ACC. Louisville, they're out of it, 7-4 and 4-4. So SMU, we'll see if things work out for them this week. Duke winning at North Carolina 32-25. So Duke gets their 6th win to be bowl eligible, and they are 6-5, 5-2 in the ACC. They're actually still alive for a chance to play for the ACC title.
It could be a six-way tie.
That's gonna be fun. I want to see the computations for that tiebreaker. But And for North Carolina, the first year under Bill Belichick, they will not go to a bowl game as they're 4-7 now and 2-5. But it was a close one, Duke pulling out late to win. Well, this one's disappointing, Corey. The battle we were looking forward to, Pitt and Georgia Tech. And I could tell you I was at the Florida game, and I was a little bit – I couldn't make up my mind if I wanted to go. I wanted to watch this game. But I'm sitting in the stadium. I see 28-0 Pitt. And I'm like, well, I made the right decision to be here. Next thing I see, it's 35-28. I'm like – and I'm watching this Florida game going, oh, my God. But, boy, the difference in this game, I think, Georgia Tech just got too far behind. But the problem is they got it back to 28-14. They're driving to cut it to a touchdown, and Haynes King throws a 100-yard pick six. Mm-hmm. So Pitt's up 21, and after that, they were able to win it 42-28. So Pitt now 8-3, 6-1. Georgia Tech at 9-2 and 6-2. Pitt hasn't clinched a spot in the ACC championship game. They have Miami this week, but they can't get there. But Georgia Tech's pretty much out of it now.
Not yet.
Well, I saw they have a 1% chance to play for it still, but I don't know how there's so many teams up there now. So, but I tell you, Georgia Tech, we've seen this the last 3-4 weeks. They get behind in these games, and this time it was a little too much.
Yeah, their defense has not been playing well the last month, and it's been showing because they got exposed by NC State, and then they got exposed again against Boston College.
Right.
And, to me, it goes back to the NC State game, because if they win the NC State game, it doesn't matter what that Pitt game, they would have already clinched.
That's true. They would have. They would have already been in that. So, but yeah, disappointing for them. Again, as you said, still maybe a slight chance. They got Georgia this week. Probably need to win that game against the Bulldogs for anything else, because they lost that darn game last year to Georgia. But so Pitt wins 42-28 over Georgia Tech. We mentioned Stanford 31-10 over Cal. Stanford takes the Battle Axe Trophy. They're 4-7 and 3-5 in the ACC. Cal 6-5 and 3-4. Now Cal looking for a new head coach. Wake Forest, they go to 8-3. Nice season for them as they beat Delaware 52-14. And Clemson, they do get to 6 wins, a 45-10 win against Furman as they become bowl eligible with a win over the 1AA in-state team. Clemson will finish their regular season this Saturday at South Carolina. So that's a look at the ACC. And the SEC, the only game involving 2 ranked teams last week in the SEC, this game was kind of ugly too. And I think this is kind of what we've seen from Missouri at times as well. But Oklahoma does get the win 17-6 at home against the Missouri Tigers. So for Oklahoma, sorry,
I didn't get to watch that game, but I'm sure I would have changed the channel if I was watching that game.
Yeah, Oklahoma's kind of won this way at times with their defense. They are good defensively, but the Sooners go to 9-2 and 5-2. The important thing for them is they are right in the heat of the college football playoff race. They have a game with LSU this week at LSU. They got to win that game. If they win that game, they're in pretty much. If they lose, that'll cause some problems. Missouri falls to 7-4 and 3-4, and Missouri's season has kind of gone downhill a little bit since the schedule picked up. But
the next game I watched a good chunk of that game, Vanderbilt and Kentucky.
Yeah, I didn't see this one then.
Man, Vanderbilt went up and down the field. Kentucky hung with them a little bit, but Vanderbilt dominated that game.
Well, we'll talk more about the SEC in just a moment, and it's actually pretty good timing here because popping in right now, and we'll bring him right in here, is our guest tonight, Kevin Brockway, the Gainesville Sun. There he is. What's up, Kev? How you doing?
How are you guys? So I guess not from start tonight. You guys are
we're home.
From the house?
Yeah, we're home game tonight. It's Thanksgiving week, so we're here tonight. But thanks for coming on, Kevin. Appreciate it as always. And we're doing some Monday Night Football tonight. But well, Kevin, of course, I'm going to start with this, of course, because this is what's on everybody's mind. Everybody asks this question, but I am the optimist. I've said all along, Lane Kiffin is coming to Florida. Corey is the other guy that says he's not. He's going to stay at Ole Miss or LSU. Which one is true, Kevin? Easy question.
I wish I knew the answer. You just hear different things. I mean, today a little bit more optimism from the Florida camp, but it changes with the win. I mean, I think over the weekend there was a feeling that LSU had taken the lead on this thing. It's going to go down to the wire. I don't think Lane really even knows at this point, and I think he's just kind of playing it to see, weigh his options as he will, and obviously anytime, you're dealing with, two schools that you can, certainly put leverage against one another, it can create some interesting scenarios. So I think things will start to leak out on Friday, and then from there we'll see how it transpires.
Yeah, the rumors about this are just all over, and they're crazy. It's like anything else. You never know what's true and what's not true. And the latest story, I guess, and this was later debunked over the weekend, was there was some internal issues with Florida. We've heard this about Scott Strickland. I don't know who to believe, but what do you? Okay, if I were to say put a bet on this, where do you think this guy, or is it just too complicated to know what he's thinking and what he's going to do at this point?
I think you have to ask Jimmy Sexton, right? I mean, he's the guy that holds all the cards in this,
right?
Along with, but I was saying 40-60 earlier between Florida and LSU. Maybe I'll go more 50-50 now based on some things that I heard today.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that this is going to go down the wire, and I think it's going to, obviously test a lot of patience. But I think Florida better have a plan B, and that's the other thing. You got to wonder, like, who is the plan B? Is it Jedd Fisch at Washington? Is it John Summerall? Is it at Tulane? Is it maybe Brent Key at Georgia Tech?
Is it Eli Drinkwitz?
You would hearing now Drinkwitz might not be in the mix anymore. So so I think that it could be one of the three guys that I mentioned. There could be a surprise, a wild card out there that nobody had on the radar. But I do think that I think if you're Florida and it doesn't work out with Lane, you'd like to be able to pivot quickly and get this done over the weekend so that you have someone in place for signing day.
Right. Corey?
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's listening.
I'm jumping ahead because but anyway, I don't have anything to add right now.
Okay. Well, man, a few words sometimes. John. Well, speaking of John Summerall, that whole story seemed to hit last week. That was another thing rolling around that they had interviewed him. Scott Strickland interviewed him. The boosters were upset. They didn't know about it. And I think that name doesn't excite anybody. That's the other thing too. Is this fan base going to accept anyone other than Lane Kiffin, or is it pretty much at this point? It seems to me like everyone wants Kiffin, or they're not going to be happy about it.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of disappointment if this doesn't work out. But that being said, I think Summerall, it depends on who you talk to, whether there was actually an interview or whether it was actually, maybe something set up, maybe not. I do think that Summerall is a guy that I've heard that if Lane leaves, which is looking more likely, that Ole Miss is going to try to jump on him very quickly as well. So he's going to have his choice. I think Auburn is in play with him. I'm sure he's probably maybe talked to some of their representatives as well. So he's another guy that's kind of the prettiest girl in the room too right now. But I do think that certainly, Lane is a guy, because people view him, the offense, the next Spurrier. But I don't know how Jedd Fisch would be received, because he's a former Spurrier guy, he's a Florida guy. I know some people are talking about Jeff Brom too, but it's been a bad, late season for him as well. And I don't know if he would leave Louisville. I think there's some questions about whether Brent Key would leave Georgia Tech as well, because that's his alma mater. But I think Key would be more apt to leave Georgia Tech than Brom would be at Louisville. And the reason why is I think Key might be a little more intrigued of the challenge of the SEC. He's like a Birmingham guy and coaching in that league, and he's got some ties with UCF in the state as well. So we'll see how it all plays out. But it's going to be a fascinating next 6 or 7 days.
Yeah,
I do have a comment to make. This really is a lot of pressure on him because he needs to make a home run hire because, Florida just fired their soccer coach. The volleyball team is not doing as well as they have been. Thank God for the cross country team doing so well. They're carrying the ball right now. This has got to be a home run hire for the next football coach.
Well, hey, women's basketball's off to a good start, but
yeah, they won again tonight.
Obviously, men's basketball with Todd, they've regrouped from the Arizona loss to beat Florida State and Miami. But I do think that no, certainly. Look, bottom line is football runs this engine, right? We know it. I mean, it's a football state. I think the state of Florida in general, though, it's been another tremendously disappointing season. Even Miami, that looked like they were going to be a college football playoff team, is had that bad October. It looks like that's going to bite them. And Florida State, is barely playing for a bowl here. Florida could play the role of spoiler this weekend on that. But for the Florida Gators, 3-8 right now. I wrote, that this is a broken program right now. Basically, you look at what Napier did to this program, and it's in as bad a shape. If Florida loses to Florida State, this is going to be the worst season since 1979. And this was people were coming into the season with a lot of high expectations, so they need to get this right for sure, and they need a guy that's gonna, excite the fan base and get the fans in the seats. So Lane is priority number one. I think the boosters realize that. I think they're going to do whatever it takes financially to get him, but it's ultimately going to be his decision. He says it's not all about money too, and where he feels comfortable and where he feels like he has the best shot of winning long term, I think.
Yeah, that what you said about the worst season since 1979, and I know you were in the press box this last Saturday. I was in the stadium. I went to the game, and I told Corey I've been a fan, not 79. I was too young, but about the early 80s, and I've never seen it that bad. It was that bad. The whole all around the game was bad. Not only that, but you had half the crowd leaving at halftime, which I've also never seen at a Florida game. It was. Have you seen? You've been covering the team for a while. It's the worst you've seen, right? I've never seen anything worse as a fan. I know.
Yeah, I thought some guys stuck around for the third quarter, right? For I won't back down, but the fourth quarter,
someone took their shirts off. Those guys up in the.
But the fourth quarter, it was empty, and it. I think I wrote this. It felt like a high school game with a running clock. The way it was just very, very odd and eerie the way that game ended. And even when Boss scored the touchdown, there was no one there to really cheer him on that wheel route, which is a shame because he's having a heck of a year in a disappointing season. But yeah, this is a program that, listen, Billy Napier, year 4, you thought it was going to be built a certain way, and it all came crumbling down. A lot of injuries, obviously, played a factor in that. But you've got to also recruit guys that you can project that can withstand an SEC season, and you have to build depth behind it. And Billy Napier never did that. So this is where they are now. But I think all the excitement too is, looking forward to a new regime, a new coaching staff, somebody that's going to be able to maximize the talent that they bring to campus, and have a plan in place where, you have a team that can withstand an SEC season and be competitive.
Yeah, that's I know that right now. I think you're right. This team isn't even competitive. That's part of the problem. We're seeing this what Billy Napier has done to this program, and as you said, they need a whole change altogether. It's culture change. Everything needs to change because this, and it's been kind of like this for on and off for about the last 15 years since Urban Meyer left.
Well, yeah, here's the thing with Billy Gonzalez, who's a very nice man and he's trying hard.
Right.
I was told before Napier was fired, though, that one of the issues was they didn't know if they could trust anyone on the staff to be the interim, from a, schematic standpoint.
Right.
But they've played very hard against Georgia and Ole Miss, but then they've had the 2 stinkers too, the one against Kentucky and then the one yesterday where, you're down 28-0 in a blink of an eye. For whatever reason, the defense has completely fallen off, this month. So it's looked pretty bad. But I do think that, listen, you got Florida State last game of the season, seniors kind of played for pride. Jaden Ball could get 1,000 yards. There are a couple things there, but I just think the main weekend is, getting someone that, and I think the culture in terms of do they, like each other? Are they good kids? Yeah, that's there. But, there's got to be a competitive fire too. And I think a lot of times, I think one of the indictments of the Napier regime was, the players taking out his personality, which was, not having that killer instinct, which, when you looked in the fourth quarter of games, how many games did they go in the fourth quarter leading that they couldn't finish off? And that played a role in that, or that they were in the games at least within one score.
Right. Corey, anything?
Well, my concern is you've hired a guy from Louisiana. You've hired a guy from Central Michigan, or maybe he was at
Colorado State. Yeah, he went to Central later.
I mean, you're Florida. You should be getting the cream of the crop. You should be getting whoever you want. And it's like we're settling for a 1AA coach, a lower Division I coach. Why are we not going after the big dogs, and why aren't the big dogs coming here?
Well, listen, Dan Mullen was a fellow SEC coach. He was at Mississippi State. He had success with Dak Prescott. And what's crazy is when you think back to that coaching search, right? Do you remember who the top choice was in that coaching search? He was fired today by the Las Vegas Raiders, Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly.
It's crazy to think. And he was also the offensive coordinator for Ohio State's national championship team last year. But as a head coach, he flamed out at UCLA. Why? Because he wasn't interested in recruiting. What eventually got Dan? He wasn't interested in recruiting. But then you bring in a guy in Billy Napier who was interested in recruiting and was interested in program building, but Strickland didn't do his due diligence and vetting on how good of a coach he was on Saturdays, which turned out to be terrible.
Yeah.
So I think you need the schemer like Lane, because the coaching is too good in the SEC. You can't get by without it. You got to have a guy, like Mullen, who's good with the X's and O's. And then you hope he's also can recruit or get guys that can recruit and be a little bit of the program builder as well. So ideally you'd like to have the full package, but it's not always easy. And Florida has always gone, traditionally they've tried to go the young up and comer route. I mean, Urban was a bit of a young up-and-comer. He did have that success at Utah a little bit before he came here. Billy Donovan came from Marshall. Todd Golden comes from San Francisco. Sometimes it hits, but sometimes it misses.
Right.
That's true.
Well, it is very true. You never know. You really never know how it's going to work out. And Lane Kiffin, if there's a slam dunk, I guess it's Lane Kiffin, but I don't even know if we know that for sure. The guys.
Yeah, he's had some, the two games that I've covered, Ole Miss and Florida, one win and one loss, but there have been some wonky fourth down calls. I'm sure that, but here's the thing about Lane is that you can have those wonky fourth, but they keep coming. You know what I mean? Like 536 yards of offense, they're going to keep coming at you because he's such a good schemer and he's such a good play caller, and he puts his, playmakers in such a good position to make plays that he's going to roll up a lot of yards. It's just sometimes the red zone decision making and the points don't always come, but when they do, I mean, it can be fireworks. I mean, it was like, like I said, 34 points and 536 yards. You feel like coming out of that game against Florida, they probably could have scored in the 40s, but they didn't. So I do wonder if Lane's the coach of Florida and you have some of those wonky fourth down calls, like how's that going to play if you lose a 38-34 kind of game? But he's definitely an offensive mastermind. He definitely does wonders with quarterbacks. I mean, you take a look at Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, he was a Division II guy from Ferris State, and he's got him as one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the SEC. And Jackson Dart, obviously playing for the New York Giants now, and what he did last year. I mean, just it's really a credit to him and his staff as well. And hey, he could bring Charlie Weiss Jr. with him as well, and of course, Florida fans remember Charlie Sr. and how that worked out.
Yeah, that went well. Yeah, yeah. Well, Kevin, was going to ask you. You're covering basketball some still, right? I don't. Were you there Friday night for that game?
I was not there Friday night, but I am still, going to be helping out. Andrew Abady's our new basketball beat writer, but I'm still on top of things. And as a matter of fact, Marty, I don't know if you saw it today, but I published my list of the 25 best Gator basketball players in the last 25 years.
Oh no, I got to find that. That'll be pretty interesting to see. Well, we'll check that out. Where can we find that, Kevin? Go ahead.
Gainesville.com and Gatorsports.com. Yeah.
So it's on there. That's where Kevin.
You want to guess why I had number one on the list?
You want me to guess? Oh gosh, this is 25 of the last 25 years. You said?
Yeah, from 2000 to 2025.
Okay, let's get some specifications. Are we talking NBA career or only Florida?
Well, we're talking Florida career, but we're also talking that my criteria was, obviously their productivity at Florida, the eye test, which is subjective to me, and their impact on winning too. played a big role.
Al Horford, maybe.
Yeah, because he's still playing in the
Marty,
NBA, I think.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Horford won, Walter Clayton too. But
wow, okay.
If you want to see the rest, log on to GatorSports.com.
I was about to say,
that was a tough decision between Horford and Clayton.
Yeah, I bet. Well, you're right.
First team All-American in Florida basketball history.
That's true, and Al Horford wasn't even, but Al Horford's had the best NBA career of any Gator, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, right. But yeah, not making that trip to San Diego, huh? That's too bad this week.
No, that would have been
nice Thanksgiving in San Diego. Yeah. So.
By the way, I've said this on other podcasts. I think it's an absolute joke that the SEC ACC Florida Duke isn't here instead of in Cameron. You know, Florida won the national championship. They weren't the ones that choked against Houston at the end of the game the way Duke did. I mean, Florida should have that game here based on merit. Think of how exciting it would be the Odom if Duke was coming to town next week.
Yeah, instead you
gotta. And for Florida, I mean, it's another bad break because I mean, you take a look at their schedule and how jet lagged they are. You know, they already went out to Vegas. They're gonna go to San Diego this weekend. Then they got to go to Raleigh, and then they got to go to New York the following weekend. I mean, it's a tough. Schedule, and it could have been broken up if the powers that be in the SEC and the ACC did the right thing and gave Florida that home game for the ACC SEC challenge.
Yeah, you're right. The toughest games they have are on the road or either at neutral sites. Their home schedule, their toughest home game is FSU. Basically, they played Miami and Jacksonville. They play Merrimack. They play St. Francis here at home. Dartmouth. Yeah, unfortunately,
they got the GW in Sunrise, George Washington.
That's the Orange Bowl Classic, right? And but yeah, you're right. Other than that, I agree with you. In fact, this happened back in the late '90s, early 2000s. Florida played Duke in Durham, went to the national championship game, and then Duke was supposed to come here, and they backed out of it. That was 2000 or so. Duke won't come down here for some reason, but they want to play everybody in Durham. But yeah, I agree with you on that. We talked about that before. Florida's a national champion. They should have these games at home or some of them, but. All right, Kevin. Well, good stuff as always. And I wanted to get you on because I figured this is the last week we can talk about this whole Kiffin thing. So something's going to probably happen this weekend. So I know you'll be on top of that. And also this last game of the year doesn't mean a whole lot for Florida, really, but it is FSU.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And I will be unfortunately glued to my phone for most of the rest of the week. But hopefully I'll have time for some turkey and stuffing, and wishing you and all your families the best for the holiday season.
You too, Kevin. Thank you very much. It's Kevin Brockway, the Gainesville Sun. Good stuff as always here as he joins us tonight here on the North Florida College Football Gridiron Report. And good stuff on both sides there for football and basketball from Kevin. But I'm with him on that Florida Duke thing. That's stupid. I also having to play UConn in New York, but and that's basically a home game for UConn, playing them in New York City. So.
Apparently they have that Missouri deal.
Yeah, right.
They can play all these home games.
That's a good point. So, so that that again, a lot of good stuff on Lane Kiffin. We'll see how that all works out here. This coming up this weekend, there should be something new. I guess. Well, he'll probably make a decision, I guess, by the weekend. All right, so let's take a look more about the SEC. We were going through this. Texas beat Arkansas 52-37. They are 8-3, 5-2. Arkansas still does not have a conference win. 2-9, 0-7. Tennessee beats Florida 31-11. First win for Tennessee in Gainesville since 2006. It's 2003 actually. But 472 games though. The NCAA record continues. Florida scoring 11 points in the second half. So Tennessee 8-3, 4-3. Florida 3-8, 2-6. Auburn.
Marty, I'm coming back from dinner Saturday night, and I'm listening to the radio broadcast, and that is all they're talking about.
Yeah, that's all we were thinking in the stands.
Is Florida going to continue this record streak? And Shane Matthews and
Sean Kelly.
Yeah, Shane Matthews kept bringing it up. It was like, well, they're in field goal range, and I was like, yeah, go ahead, kick the field goal. Let's end the talk.
Yeah, that's what they did. Well, Trace Mack missed one in the second quarter. And it was actually not too far. And apparently Chris Fowler on the ABC broadcast totally jinxed him. He said, oh, yeah, this guy, one of the best kickers in America, he's only missed 2 field goals from 40, about 40 are in, and he's made 12 in a row, and then he missed. But he did make the one in the third quarter, and then Jaden Ball getting the touchdown in the fourth. But we mentioned Auburn. Auburn beats Mercer 62-17. It was tied 14-all in the first, but Auburn now 5-6. We mentioned Mercer 9-2, one of the top seeds in the FCS playoffs. Alabama 56-0 over Eastern Illinois. They're 9-2. Georgia, no problem with Charlotte 35-3. The Bulldogs go to 10-1. Texas A&M goes to 11-0, beating Samford 48-0. This score has surprised me a little bit. I think we both last week thought Coastal Carolina could maybe win this game, but no, South Carolina wins 51-7. So the Gamecocks go to 4-7.
Well, you actually picked South Carolina. I actually picked Coastal Carolina.
You did pick Coastal. I thought so. But I thought it would be a closer game, but it was not. So, and the Gamecocks can't make a bowl game even if they beat Clemson this week. So they are 4-7 going in. All right, the Big Ten, Ohio State 42-9 over Rutgers. Number 1 Buckeyes 11-0 and 8-0. They got Michigan this week. Rutgers falls to 5-6, 2-6. Oregon, the game of the week, really the best game of the week. Number 7 Oregon 42-27 over USC. They pull away late. The Ducks are 10-1 and 7-1. Number 15 USC falls to 8-3 and 6-2. This game, Oregon pretty much led the whole way. USC did make it close, but this was, as far as rankings concerned, the best game of the week last week. So,
yeah, that was the big CBS game. Sorry.
Yeah, Oregon's going to have a game at Washington this week, but they're in pretty good shape to make the college football playoff, even if they don't play for the Big Ten title, which right now Ohio State and Indiana are still in the driver's seat there. Michigan, they struggled a bit early, but they pulled away to win 45-20 at Maryland. They're 9-2 and 7-1, trying to stay in the hunt for the Big Ten championship. They'll have Ohio State this week at home, noon. That'll be the big noon game on Saturday on Fox. Maryland 4-7, 1-7. Wisconsin, boy, this one surprises me. They have been struggling all year. They knock off the 21st ranked Illinois Fighting Illini 27-10. Wisconsin 4-7 and 2-6. Illinois falls to 7-4 and 4-4. Man, it's hard to figure out some of these teams. Illinois is one of them.
Illinois, Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean, well, look at Iowa. Iowa struggled against Michigan State.
They did. They had to come back and win that game late, as we'll talk about in a moment. Northwestern, you mentioned 38-35 over Minnesota. A walk-off field goal at Wrigley Field as Northwestern gets their 6th win. They are bowl eligible 6-5, 4-4. Minnesota also 6-5 and 4-4. Iowa scores late to beat Michigan State 20-17. The Hawkeyes 7-4 and 5-3. Michigan State 3-8 and 0-8. Penn State 37-10 over Nebraska. Katron Allen 160 yards and 2 touchdowns, became the school's all-time rushing leader. And Penn State now 5-6 and 2-6. They beat Rutgers this week. They will be bowl eligible. Nebraska 7-4 and 4-4. Nebraska has kind of struggled down the stretch. They'll get Iowa this week to finish the regular season. And no problem for Washington on Saturday night. 48-14 at UCLA. The Huskies go to 8-3 and 5-3. Will Jed Fish be the next coach of the Gators? Who knows? He's having a good year at Washington as UCLA falls to 3-8, 3-5. By the way, Corey, in that game, I saw one of the weirdest, dumbest plays I've ever seen. UCLA tried a fake field goal in the second quarter, and the holder, they did the whole, like, remember LSU against Florida once where he throws it behind his head, except for the fact that he missed the kicker completely. The ball fell on the ground. The ball fell on the ground in front of the kicker. Washington picked it up, took it to the end zone for a touchdown. I've never seen that before. It was just a strange looking play, and Washington, they were blowing out UCLA in that game. All right, that is the Big Ten. On to the Big 12. BYU, boy, they pulled away for a big win late, 36-14 at Cincinnati. Cougars are ranked 11th, 10-1 and 7-1. Still a shot at the college football playoff as Cincinnati falls to 7-4 and 5-3. This game was nuts. Utah 51-47 over Kansas State in Salt Lake City. The Utes, who are ranked 12th, 9-2 and 6-2, hanging on to the possible playoff bid. Kansas State falls to 5-6, 4-4. 98 combined points between these two. May not have seen that coming, but K-State led most of this game, and Utah able to come back late and win.
Yeah, definitely didn't see that one coming because Kansas State had been struggling. They still need one more win to become bowl eligible. Utah have been rolling, with the exception of a loss to BYU. And who else would have been? Maybe Texas Tech.
They lost Texas Tech. Texas Tech. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Utah goes to 9-2. TCU, they go to Houston and win 17-14. Late field goal for the Horned Frogs, 7-4, 4-4. Houston 8-3 and 5-3. Arizona State, no problem for the 25th ranked Sun Devils. They win 42-17 at Colorado. Arizona State 8-3 and 6-2. Colorado 3-8, 1-7. Iowa State, boy, they beat up Kansas at home 38-14. They go to 7-4, 4-4 in the Big 12. Kansas 5-6 and 3-5. They need one more win, along with Kansas State, still to be bowl eligible. Arizona blowing out Baylor 41-17. Arizona 8-3, 5-3. Baylor falls to 5-6 and 3-5. And UCF comes back in this game to beat Oklahoma State 17-14. This is UCF goes to 5-6 and 2-6. They need one more win to be bowl eligible.
What
Oklahoma
a terrible game! I mean,
yeah,
Cowboys are 1-10. UCF should have dominated that game.
Yeah, they really should have. And then they need one more win to be bowl eligible. UCF does as well. All right, we'll go through this quickly. Still got to get to our picks tonight. We'll go past 10. That's okay, but we had a good interview there with Kevin Brockway, the Gainesville Sun. In the American Conference, Tulane, they are still one of the teams in the driver's seat to play for the American title. They beat Temple 37-13. Tulane 9-2, 6-1. Temple falls to 5-6 and 3-4. USF, as we mentioned that game at UAB, USF wins 48-18. A strange day for the UAB Blazers. It's been a strange year all around for them. USF now 8-3, 5-2. UAB 8-3 and 8-1 and 6. UTSA bowl eligible 58-24 for East Carolina. Was that game at San Antonio or at East Carolina? It says at home.
At home, yeah. At home.
That was at San Antonio. So the Roadrunners get the 6-5, 4-3 in the conference. East Carolina 7-4, 4-2.
Essentially, they eliminated East Carolina from winning or playing in the championship game.
East Carolina had a chance still.
Yeah.
And then finally, as it says, North Texas, the Mean Green Machine cook Rice, 56-24. As North Texas, are they going to play for the conference title? 10-1 and 6-1 now.
They should. As far as I know, it's Tulane, North Texas, and Navy all fighting it out for the 2 spots.
I think they all have 1 loss. Yeah, you're right. So that looks like it's what it's going to be for their playing for the title there. All right, and then looking at the Mountain West, UNLV, they blew out Hawaii 38-10 on Friday. So the Rebels staying in contention for the conference title, 9-2 and 5-2. Hawaii falls to 7-4 and 4-3. New Mexico, 20-3 over Air Force. I guess New Mexico still with a chance to play for the conference title. They are now 8-3 or 8-4 and 5-3. Air Force 3-8, 2-5. Boise State also stays in contention, 49-21 over Colorado State, as they go to 7-4 and 5-2. Colorado State now 2-9 and 1-6. Boy, the color just changed for some reason there. That's weird. I don't know what's going on there.
Utah State beat Fresno State.
Yeah, Utah State 28-17 over Fresno. They Aggies an upset at Fresno State on the road as they go to 6-5. San Diego State 25-3 over San Jose State. San Diego State to 9-2 and 6-1, and they now looks like they're in control of the title race as they beat San Jose State.
Let's skip the schedules and go straight to the
picks. Yeah, we'll talk about a lot of these games too in our picks as it's now 10 o'clock. So, all right, to the picks we go. We will start in conference or in American Conference. Navy and Memphis.
Let's go back to last week.
Sorry,
Marty, you were 23-8. I was 19-12.
Ooh.
So now you've taken the lead. 163-89. I'm 160-92. So you have a 3-game lead going into this week.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize it was that big of a difference last week, but I knew we were close coming in. So I will let Corey go first in these. Navy at Memphis.
Yeah, and I did change the game while you were talking to Kevin because I realized that there was a duplicate on the list. So we will not pick Georgia Tech twice. I put them on there twice. So Navy, Memphis. Navy still has a chance to win that conference and go to the championship game. I'm going with Navy.
Memphis, they knocked off USF here, but they have struggled since. Lost to UAB, lost to East Carolina. Navy only has that loss to North Texas too. But I know it's at Liberty Bowl, but I agree with you. I think Navy's going to win this game. Ole Miss and Mississippi State Egg Bowl Friday at noon.
Yeah, Ole Miss.
Yeah, I don't care what's going on with Lane Kiffin. Their Ole Miss is going to win this game and roll to the football playoff. They'll wait and see if they can play for the SEC title, but they'll definitely be in the playoff as that comes up. Utah and Kansas.
Kansas needs us to go to a bowl, but it's not going to happen. Give me Utah.
Yeah, the Utes are playing good football right now. I know they gave up 47 to K-State, but they scored 51. So Kansas is not playing good football right now after getting blown out last weekend in their game. I like Utah as well. Iowa at Nebraska, two teams that are hard to figure out. They always play the Friday after Thanksgiving. And now, of course, it's a Big Ten game with Nebraska in the Big Ten rivalry game.
I'm going with the Hawkeyes.
Well, I don't know if I could trust Iowa, but I definitely can't trust Nebraska, it seems like. But and they have not played well down the stretch. They were blown out last weekend by Penn State. They've also lost to Minnesota. Games at home, but I agree. I'll take Iowa.
All right.
Georgia Tech, that's Saturday afternoon at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
You know, can't trust their defense. I'm going with Georgia.
Not so fast, my friend, reluctantly, but Georgia Tech should have won this game last year. Haynes King, his last home game, technically. Games at Mercedes-Benz. I know Georgia Tech's not playing well, but I'm going to take them. Give me Georgia Tech. I'm going to take Georgia Tech. I'm going to go out on a limb and think the best is going to happen in that game. Indiana at Purdue. Ouch. The old Oaken bucket. This is not going to be a great game.
Wait. You skipped a couple games.
Oh, did I see Georgia Tech twice? You're right. I saw the Georgia Tech down the list. Yeah, my bad. Wait. Yeah, I saw it down the list. Sorry. San Diego State and New Mexico. My apologies.
New Mexico's having their best year in a long time. I heard someone say that. San Diego State's playing for potential spot in the championship game. I'm going to go New Mexico.
I don't know. The Aztecs are going to probably win this conference. I know, as you said, New Mexico's having a good year, but I think San Diego State will win. I know it's on the road, but I'll take the Aztecs.
Okay.
Boise State at Utah State.
If Boise wins, they're going to the Mountain West Championship game. Give me Boise.
Utah State, nice win for them last week at Fresno. This game is in
Utah.
Where is Utah State? They're in I can't remember the name of the city they're in. Anyway, I'll take Boise State as well on the road. Air Force at Colorado State.
Two terrible teams. I love pulling for the Air Force, but they're both really terrible. But I will go with the Air Force.
Yeah, I like pulling for the Air Force too. And you're right. Neither one of these teams is very good. I'll agree with you on that one. I'll take the Air Force even though it's on the road in Fort Collins. That I do know. Colorado State is located. Temple in North Texas.
Temple's going for a bowl. North Texas is going to get to the championship game with their conference, American. Give me North Texas.
Yeah, the Mean Green are better. And this game is in Denton, Texas, North Texas. I'm with you. I like North Texas to win this game. We already did that game. Georgia Tech Part 2. Indiana at Purdue. I was saying this earlier, the old Oaken bucket game, and I don't think this is going to be a very good game.
Indiana all the way.
Purdue is also at the bottom of the Big Ten. So, yeah, Indiana wins this game, even though it's at Purdue. Texas A&M, Texas. This is Friday night.
Man, last year, I remember watching this game last year, and I think we have the same situation where if A&M would have won that game last year, they would have gone to the SEC championship game. But by Texas winning, that put Texas into the championship game against Georgia. So, man, I want to pick A&M, but I think Texas has their number.
A little surprised about that you picked them. Yeah, it does seem like that, but
come on, you want ATM? You want ATM?
Well, it's funny because I picked Texas to play for the championship early in the year, and they've been kind of a downer for me. But at this point, I actually do like Texas A&M better. I'm going to take the Aggies to win this game, and I still don't trust Arch Manning. And I picked them to beat Georgia 2 weeks ago, and they got blown out. So I'm kind of tired of picking Texas. So I'll take A&M. Arizona State. What they call the border war. They call this one, right?
Territorial Cup.
Territorial Cup. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Man, two really good teams. They're both going to bowls. Arizona State, I think, is still in the mix for the Big 12. Jeff Sims playing well. Give me Arizona State.
Arizona's having a good year, though. Don't get me wrong. They're 7-4. Good year for them, but this game, Arizona State is playing better football right now. I agree. I'll take the Sun Devils at home to win. All right, here we go. The game on Saturday from the Big House, Ohio State and Michigan, noon kickoff on
To me,
Fox.
this is a no-brainer. Michigan has won like 3-4 in a row. They're playing at home. If Michigan wins, it causes chaos in this conference. Okay. Give me the Wolverines.
Wow, I'm a little surprised in that one. Well, not so fast, my friend, because again, Ohio this game going on here.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear.
It is overdue to win this matchup, and I think that they will. I'm a little surprised you took Michigan there. I wasn't expecting that. Ohio State's the number one team. Michigan's kind of, to me, underachieved. I don't think Bryce Underwood's playing that well. I think it's finally time for Ohio State to win this game, even though it's in Michigan. I'm taking the Buckeyes. I think they're the best team. Texas Tech at West Virginia.
Red Raiders.
Yeah, I like Texas Tech. This team's going to be in the playoff. They're going to probably win the Big 12. West Virginia has played better lately, but yeah, I like Texas Tech. Miami at Pitt.
Pitt.
Pitt kind of pissed me off a little bit by beating Georgia Tech, but they're good. I mean, they're a good team. Miami on the road, can I trust them? Not really. No, they've lost to Pitt before. So, yeah, I'm with you. Give me the Panthers. Houston at Baylor. Baylor needs a win to be bowl eligible. Houston's kind of stumbled down the stretch.
Yeah, and Baylor just got the there's rumbling about the coach, and I think Baylor may have re-signed him to a deal. I think.
Yeah.
Man, I really, this is a hard pick because it's like, who can you trust? I'll go Baylor because they're playing at home.
I'm also going to go with Baylor because Houston lost at home to TCU. The game, as you said, it's in Waco. Baylor needs it to be bowl eligible, so I'll go with Baylor as well. All right, the Palmetto State battle. Clemson at South Carolina. Well, Clemson got bowl eligible last week. South Carolina can't make a bowl. Who do you like here?
This is their bowl game. Give me the Gamecocks.
I agree, and I don't like Clemson on the road. They haven't played well at all this year on the road. South Carolina's been close. Yeah, I think the Gamecocks, as you said, it's their bowl game. They'll win this game at home. Kentucky and Louisville. Kentucky needs a win to be bowl eligible. Louisville has stumbled down the stretch. And
I think Kentucky gets it because Louisville has stumbled down the stretch.
Kentucky is hard to figure out, too. They really are. And they have been terrible on the road. I mean, it got blown out last week by Vandy, but I don't know. It seems like Kentucky does usually find a way to beat Louisville. So I'll go with the Wildcats as well, even though it's on the road. Iowa State at Oklahoma State.
Iowa State.
God, there's a lot of games on here. Yes, Oklahoma State's terrible. Give me Iowa State. Colorado at Kansas State. K-State needs a win to be bowl eligible.
Kansas State.
And they'll get it. I agree. K-State as well at home.
BYU.
UCF and BYU. Games in Provo and BYU. Boston College at Syracuse. Ugh. Wow.
I'm going Boston College. They've shown me they played really well against Georgia Tech.
No, they almost beat Georgia Tech. They played was it Louisville down the stretch? They played them pretty close. And Syracuse is just bad. I mean, I agree. It's in Syracuse, but I take BC as well. Penn State at Rutgers. Nittany Lions need a win to be both teams need a win to be bowl eligible. They're both 5 and 6.
But I like the way Penn State's playing right now.
Yeah, I agree. I should have taken them to beat Nebraska last week, and I didn't. They nearly beat Indiana at home. And Rutgers is coming off a big loss to Ohio State. They haven't looked good. I'll go with you and take Penn State. Wisconsin and Minnesota. This is the battle for Paul Bunyan's axe.
Yes. Wisconsin's coming off a big win, but Minnesota's playing at home. This is a big robbery game. Give me Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota has not had a great stretch run either, losing to Northwestern last week. Wisconsin got that win over Illinois, but like you said, it's in Bloomington. So give me Minnesota. LSU at Oklahoma. Sooners need this win to stay in the playoff. LSU's bowl eligible, so they are in a bowl game, but this game at Oklahoma.
A month ago, I would have picked LSU, but now I'm picking Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think the Sooners are playing good football. I agree with you. I like Oklahoma at home. Missouri at Arkansas. This is always a This is always a battle, like a rivalry game. They play the last weekend of the season.
I want Bacon Bits to win, but I'm picking Mizzou.
Yeah, Missouri's not been good on the road either. I want to pick Arkansas, but Arkansas is just not good at all. Yeah, I'll take Missouri to win that game as well. Oregon at Washington. This is the Saturday 3:30 game on CBS.
I'm going Washington. They're playing at home.
Yeah, they've been good there. But I'm going to stick with Oregon. I picked them last week. I think Oregon is obviously in the playoffs, so I'm going to take the Ducks, even on the road. I like this game. Vanderbilt at Tennessee. This game has become huge.
I found another duplicate right after that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm picking. I'm picking Vandy. Oh, who about? Do you pick Oregon or Washington?
Oregon.
Okay.
The Ducks. Vandy at Tennessee.
Vandy.
Okay, Vandy. Whew, this game's in Knoxville. It's at Neyland, but you know what? Vandy could make the playoffs still. They're not. They're right outside of it. I saw Tennessee. Tennessee looked good, but that was against Florida's not good at all. So, I think you're right. I think Pavia Vanderbilt win and Knoxville. Okay, we already did that game. Wake Forest at Duke. Duke got their 6th win last week to be bowl eligible. Wake Forest is 8-3.
And Duke can cause much chaos. It could be a 6-way tie.
That's right.
If they win this game, but I'm going with Wake.
Wake's had a good year. I mean, they could very well be 9-2. They could have beaten Georgia Tech earlier in the year, but that's a tough one for me. I'll go with Wake as well to win on the road. Cincinnati at TCU. Both teams struggling down the stretch. Cincinnati lost last week to big to BYU. TCU won at Houston.
Yeah, I'm going TCU at home.
Yeah, Cincinnati's not playing well down the stretch either, so I'll agree. I'll take TCU. James Madison at Coastal Carolina.
Wow. James Madison's playing for a playoff bid. Coastal Carolina's not a bad team, although they got exposed against South Carolina. But I'm still picking JMU.
Yeah, James Madison's pretty good. I agree. And even though this game will be in Conway, South Carolina, I think James Madison still has an outside shot at the CFP. So I'll take the Dukes. The Dukes of James Madison. UCLA at USC. This will be late Saturday night. The game in the wow, there's still a lot more. Oh my God, how many games do we have? UCLA at USC.
Fight on Trojans.
Yeah, USC at home. UCLA is not good at all. All right, Florida State at Florida. I thought this was the last game, and then I realized there's 6 more games after it.
Give me Florida.
Really? Wow, I'm a little surprised. I made the mistake of picking them to beat Tennessee last week. I picked them to beat Georgia and Kentucky. But you know what? This game is in Gainesville. I said this last week. Florida State is not good. They are not a good road team, as you saw last week. Yeah, give me the Gators. Why not? Maryland and Michigan State. Game is in Detroit. Ugh, these two teams.
Too bad. Yeah, 2 terrible teams. It's in Detroit.
So it'll be a Michigan State.
Yeah, I'll go with Michigan State.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to take Maryland anymore. So you give me Michigan State as well to win. Virginia Tech at Virginia. Virginia needs the win to play for the ACC title.
Virginia.
All right, and I agree. Virginia Tech has struggled this year. Give me Virginia as well. North Carolina, NC State. Wolfpack are now bowl eligible. North Carolina cannot make a bowl.
Give me the Wolfpack.
Yeah, they're playing better. I like NC State as well. Alabama at Auburn. Can the Tide
roll Tide?
Yeah, I like Alabama as well. Auburn. It's at Auburn, but Auburn has struggled all season. Northwestern at Illinois.
Man, up until last week, I would have picked Illinois, but Northwestern's playing well too. But I'll still go with Illinois.
Yeah, I'll take the Illini at home. I think it's another one of those teams that's a lot better at home than on the road, so I'll take Illinois as well. SMU at Cal.
SMU needs this win to go to the ACC championship game. I'm going with SMU.
Cal just fired their coach. They're struggling down the stretch. Yeah, even though it's in Berkeley, I like SMU. Final game late Saturday night. This is late Saturday night. Notre Dame at Stanford.
Yeah, this is like a 10:30 game, so it's the final game. But final game of the year, actually.
That's right.
Up until a conference championship game. So, with that said, give me the Irish.
Yep, give me Notre Dame. I don't think they'll have much trouble here. Notre Dame's going to go to the playoff, so they'll get the win there. All right.
By the way, we had like 40 games because I canceled 4 of them because of duplicates.
Okay.
Well, only 4. No, 5. Only 5. We have different.
Yeah, actually, I thought we may have more than that. You're right, and I think I changed my mind on some a little bit, but all right.
But we had to go deep because this is the final week. I mean, next week
they have championship games. You're right.
Championship games.
And then we got bowl games.
Bowl games, and then we had the playoffs too. So
that's right, playoffs. So, all right. Well, we are past 10 again. So we want to thank Kevin Brockway again, the Gainesville Sun, for coming on to talk about it. Lots to talk about in this show. And when we come back next week, regular time, Wednesday 9 to 10, here on North Florida Sports Talk, we will have the regular edition on Wednesday, and we'll look back at rivalry week, and we'll be able to talk about championship games for conferences. So that'll be a fun week as well. All right, Corey, good job. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family and everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone else who's watching. And we will talk to you again next week from Beef O'Brady's in Stark. You've been watching the North Florida College Football Gridiron Report on North Florida Sports Talk. So long and good night.